wanted to introduce her, Ginger Walker. Come on up to stage. She's awesome. I get to chat with her almost 3 times a week on Clubhouse.
At least. Come on, who doesn't love this song? Like every single freaking listing I walk up to, this is in my head. Like just imagine strutting up to the door. Come on, right? I know this has nothing to do with my topic though, it's giving back, so. But anyway, thank you so much. All right, there's the clicker. All right, so these are because I might cry. This is because I'm really hoarse. So I'm gonna leave this up here. My topic is giving back. And I'm gonna tell you a little story. And I do have something to hand out to everybody too. I was 26 years old, 5 months and 9 days. And my mom died. I am standing here right now, and I am 3 months, 4 days, and I don't even know how many minutes, older than my mom when she died. That's the part where it kills me. She died of ovarian cancer. And for those of you who are of my age, I'm 52, I'll be 53 in September, might remember Gilda Radner, Rosanna Dana, okay? She also died of ovarian cancer. And I'm a Jersey girl. I don't know who's from Jersey in the house. Woo-woo! Come on. I'm from Jersey, although I do live near Quantico. My husband's job took us down there. But being in Jersey, we went to New York City, and it was my sister, who's 4 years younger than me, and my mom. And we went to Gilda's Club. And Gilda Radner, they had started this place for women who could go with ovarian cancer. And it was also for their families. And so my sister, who's 4 years younger than me, so I was in high school, she was in grammar school, I graduated high school or going to college, she graduated high school. We were never really together on the same page until now. We walked through that door, and about 6 months later, my mom died. My mom gave me the best gifts of my life. When I was a kid, she said, Ginger, I want you to find a toy that you love. It has to have all of its pieces, all of its parts, and it has to be in good condition. And you're gonna put it under the Christmas tree. And Santa's gonna come, and he's gonna take that present, and he's gonna give it to someone else who needs it more than you do. I remember that starting when I was 6 years old. That was my mom. Her name is Ginny. Mine is Ginger. We actually have the same first name. That's another story for another time. But that's how I grew up. I grew up with that ingrained in me to give back, to pay it forward, to help someone else who might need more than you do because you have enough. So when we walked through that door, there were 2 things that happened. Actually 3. The first thing was I realized that my mom was the most amazing, and I'm gonna curse, fucking person in the world. And I'm sorry I cursed, but I had to do it. Woo! She did it first, okay. So I have permission, thank you, Lana. But she was, and she still is, because she's always with me. But she gave me the best gift of my life, and it was my sister. I didn't realize it until we walked through that door, because like I said, we were never really on the same page. And I looked at my mom and I said, thank you. And I looked at my sister and I said, I love you. And together we will face anything that this world has to bring to us. Okay, now I'm gonna flash forward. The other picture, that's me and my husband and the family to our side there. We moved overseas, my husband's government, and we moved overseas to Italy. My son was halfway through kindergarten and our daughter was halfway through 3rd grade. We met that family, and that family actually has 4 boys. 2 older, who were in college at the time that this picture was taken, and 1 younger. The 1 younger passed away. When we lived in Italy, my friend Lynn, who's a nurse, She's deaf. She has hearing aids. 3 of her 4 boys also had hearing aids. They had a lot of different medical things going on. But while we were there, Tanner, who's a kindergartner at the time, was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy, Duchenne's. He died during a surgery. But while we lived in Italy, they went back and forth for his treatment. And I was like, God, this family has been dealt with so much. How much could a parent have to go through? Tanner didn't die until after we all moved back. And this was about 4 months after. Tanner is the reason why I flipped my entire business model to giving back. And I'm going to explain a little bit why. I look at things in 3s, so I'm going to explain the 3 different circles you'll understand by the end. So there's the what, right? What do you do if you want to make a business out of giving back? You can give money, you can give time, you can give both. So what my team actually does, and I started my team called Give Back Team. We started in 2018. It's called Give Back Team, but I actually started in 2008. And I'll explain a little bit about what I did for giving back before. But the what in giving money is you can either give a flat amount or you can give a percentage. Or you can give time. And in giving time, you can do a myriad of things. You can donate, a basket to a raffle. You can actually be the volunteer. You can set up a food drive or something like that. There's lots of different things that you can do. Or you can do both. And what I found is doing both is actually going to give you the biggest impact. Now you're probably thinking, wow, this is kind of cheesy. Giving back and using that in promoting yourself. And I did struggle with that, and I'll tell you a little something. When I started in real estate in 2008, if you all remember 2008, that was a shit show, right? And I volunteered, I did, baskets and raffles. So I was always in the community and I was always doing stuff. Well, I ended up with the nickname Give Back Girl. Someone actually gave that to me, and it kind of stuck. So in 2018, when I started the team, it was the natural progression to call it Give Back Team. And people are like, why don't you call it Ginger Walker Group or the Walker Group? And I'm like, because it's more not about me, but it's about everybody else in the room. So it's all in how you look at it. It is not cheesy to be giving back in your business. And it's actually a big pillar of where my business comes from. And I can tell you about 35% of our business comes as a direct result of giving back. So giving money, this is really the messy part. So when I first started, and I was a solo agent in 2008, I gave 10% of my compensation back to the charity of my client's choice. I let them pick. But here's the problem. Is it before a split? Is it after a split, right? I don't know. And then think of it this way. If I sold a $150,000 house, the commission is X. But if I sold a $1.5 million house, that commission is X times 10. Is this charity worth less than this charity? I'm giving more here than I am here, and that really bothered me. So I solved the problem by giving a flat donation. Problem solved. Well, here's the problem with that. That $150,000 commission is a lot less. It's easier to give X amount if you're selling big houses, but when you sell that other house for the lower compensation, now you're stretching. But I will tell you that over time, it all equals out. So the other option is that you can, and I've seen people do this, is that they'll just put at the bottom of their signature, I donate $25 to Children's National Hospital with each transaction. So you can do something small and start there. But if you do something, you want to do something, do it. Start small. You can scale up. That's the beauty of giving back, right? You don't have to say, I'm going to give $1,000. You can give $25. You don't even have to tell people how much you're giving. Because I'll tell you right now, nobody knows what we give. because we don't say. People are just excited with the fact that they are partnering with us to be able to give back to their community. These are some of the checks that we've done, and these are bigger donations. So you can see this one actually with $30,000, that one hurt to write, but it was the most amazing check I've ever written in my life. We sent local kids in the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, and Virginia, to a camp, and these were kids that lost a parent or a sibling, and it was a 3-day camp. And I was like, damn, that check was a lot, and it was worth every goddamn penny. And I would write it again tomorrow, because to see what those kids went through and what they were able to do over that weekend was amazing. So for selfish reasons, I would write that check again tomorrow. Some of these other checks that you see, because we were presenting sponsors, so like that top one I mentioned, Fairy Godmother Project, we were the presenting sponsor of one of their big galas. Little team, 3 people, and it used to be a giant brokerage that did that. How? Because I saved money from each one of the commissions that came in. I saved a percentage, I put it in an account. And then I even had clients say, hey, I want to help you with this. We never took their money, but I invited them to the event. They bought a ticket and they paid it forward. So these are things that you can do too with each transaction. If you don't want to give a certain amount, or you don't want to commit to something, you can start saving money to do bigger things like this. Okay, so we talked about the what, now let's talk about the who. Everybody has a something. Everybody. You've been affected by something somewhere in your life that would give you the sense of compassion to want to help someone else. Mine started with my mom passing away, right? The pivot in my business, and I'll tell you the story on the pivot actually, because it's kind of funny. My husband and I were brushing our teeth in the bathroom. And we have those sinks where they're, not facing each other, we're back to back. And we were probably back home from Italy for 2 months. Literally brushing our teeth at night. And I turn around to my husband, and his name's Dave. And I'm like, Dave, I'm gonna change brokerages and I'm gonna flip the script on my business. And he's like, okay. Like husbands would do, okay, honey. And the next day I walked in, I changed my brokerage. I looked for a brokerage that was gonna partner with me on some of these crazy things that I wanted to do. And I changed my whole business plan on giving back. So the who, everyone has a something. So you can pick one charity, you can pick multiple charities. So for example, I partner with my client and I let my client pick. I want them to be a part of this. But for selfish reasons, I also give a percentage, or not a percentage, a flat fee to Children's National Hospital with each donation, or with each transaction. So we actually have multiple charities that we give to. We also put money towards the bigger charities, the bigger checks, like I just showed you. So you pick, it's a charity that you want to support behind them, or it's something that your client picks. Or you do both, which is what we do. The question you have to ask yourself, though, is who's this for? Is it for me? Is it my charity I want to support? Because if that were the case, the money would be going to Guilds Club. But it's not. Is it for the client, or is it for the community? The one thing I will say is people want to feel they're a part of something bigger. And this gives them that opportunity to feel that way. All right, so let's talk about giving time, because this is actually the fun part. You can volunteer, and you can start with something small. And that's what I did. I walked into our animal shelter, and it was just this little tiny, it was a shack, it was nothing. And I walked in with a checkbook, and I said, this was before I started the team, and I said, hey, I want to do something to help you guys, what can I do? I want to adopt some animals, and I'll volunteer. And they put me to work. And I cleaned out the shit from the cages. It was disgusting. But it was worth it, because I got to hang out with the animals. But I also then said, hey, I want to pay for all the animals here in the shelter. I don't want anyone to know what I'm doing, but anyone that comes in, all these animals are paid for. And they looked at me like I had 16 heads. They're like, what? I'm like, I don't care. I want to pay for them all. So you can do something where you're doing your time and your money, but you can do something. Just find something. So you can sponsor a swim team, you can send pizza. Someone, you were talking about the firemen, like, right? Go into the fire station, bring pizzas. Those guys are working crazy hours, and women too. Go to the school, Teacher Appreciation Day, make that any day you want it to be, right? You walk in there with Dunkin' Donuts and coffee for breakfast or whatever, support something local, bring in muffins. I mean, that's a win-win for everybody, and that's something unexpected. So you can start with something small. You can do something more medium level where you're volunteering with some consistency. Join a group of volunteers that does something on like a quarterly basis. The one thing that I did was, and it actually made the front page of our local newspaper, and this actually, that article was from 2009. And that newspaper article sits on my desk. It doesn't matter where my desk is. I used to teach a class at a women's shelter. I walked in, I said, hey, I've got someone who wants to donate to you, and I would love the opportunity to help. What can I do? And they were like, well, every month we have a different topic. And each week, the ladies have to be there for an hour and a half, and they have to learn something new. It has to be a skill that's gonna build them. You sell houses, what can you do? Well, I can help teach them how to fill out an application for a rental. I can bring someone for credit repair. I can teach them how to prepare to buy their first home. I can explain the process. I could go on and on. So I always had the month of September, and in September, I would come in and I could only bring ladies in, and we would teach classes every week for that month. I was able to help the first woman ever to transition from the Hope House to buying a house, and it made the front page of the paper. And as a result of that, I also was able to do a Fill Her House drive, where the women all had these like storage units, and when they transitioned out, they would be able to have stuff donated, like TVs and beds and frames and dressers or whatever. So we wanted to fill her house, and that's what we did here. So we actually partnered with a couple of local businesses, and we actually filled all of their houses. Almost every woman that was in there had furniture as a result of that drive. So you can do something like that. Go to a shelter. You could do something larger like building a home, right? There's Habitat for Humanity, there's all kinds of builds in all different areas. There's the women's build. Find something like that. Organize a yearly drive. I mean, these are all things that you can take and scale. Become a board member, which is something that I did too. So the drive, there's something that we actually are doing, we do for 4 years now, since I started the team. This is some of my team. But we actually organized for Children's National Hospital in DC, and they also have one in Fredericksburg now. They had, we do this with the radio station. I have a radio show. And with the radio station, we were partnering with them to help them for the Carathon, which is also in September. We're really busy in August and September with a lot of our stuff in the public with donations. But there was this thing, and it was Dr. Bear's Closet. I was like, what's that? Oh, it's when the kids come into the hospital. It's where they get toys or gifts, or if they get stuck here with nothing for whatever reason, it's a new gift for them. Oh, who fills it? Well, we usually get money and we go out and buy stuff. And I was like, what? We've started a toy drive. Start a toy drive. Go to your hospital. Go somewhere where you might be able to make an impact in collecting things. It doesn't have to be a toy drive. It could be cans of soup. It could be anything. But you can do something like that and do it with consistency. Okay, so this is what we do. We do both. We give time and we give money. So we started a program, and it actually kicked off this year, and it's called GBT Gives Back. We asked the public, nominate local charities. I only wanted local charities. I didn't want national level charities. And we said, we need 36. Why 36? Because we need 3 every month. And every month, we blog about them, we promote them on social media, I talk about them on the radio, and I've been on a couple of different radio stations as a result of it. I give shout outs on the show I'm on. And every month, we ask the public to vote. And you can vote once a day per email. And whoever gets the most votes wins a $500 donation. So think about that. 36 local charities. $500 a month. What's that? Quick math. Not a lot. $6,000 investment, right? The key is making the impact. So now we've been blogging, we've been talking about them, we've been promoting them, they've been promoting themselves. Our name is sometimes attached to that, so it does help us too. But that being said, there are charities that are in my own backyard, and I've lived in my house since 2002, that I never knew about, like literally down the street. So we are actually not only doing that, but we're introducing charities to each other that are now helping each other out. I had a charity say, I'm not promoting myself anymore. Why? You don't want $500? No, we don't deserve it. This charity does. We're putting all of our support behind them. How crazy is that? So here's the cool thing. Nobody knows this, but at the end of the year, yeah, but you, because I haven't announced this yet. They know something's coming, but at the end of the year, I'm one of those people that everyone wins. So the other two charities, right, they're not gonna walk away with nothing, although they've gotten a lot of promotion, they've gotten volunteers as a result of it, other donations, which is amazing. I mean, that's the goal, is to spread the awareness of the different organizations and charities. But at the end of the year, we're gonna do a big event for all 36 charities, and everyone's walking away with a check. Everyone. We had a tie for the first time. I just did a video Friday, I was on the radio. And we went live at the radio station, and we had a tie. We'd never had that before. I was like, oh shit, what do we do? I don't know. I don't know what to do. So we kind of threw something out there, and we said, vote. But in my mind, everyone wins. So we announced live, but they thought one charity was gonna get called, and actually we're giving $500 to both charities, because they both win, right? So there's things like this that you can do that you can make a big impact. $6,000, that's not a lot of money, right? I mean, it is a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. It's not a lot of money though to be able to pay it forward and make this big of an impact. And then you can do something like Fairy Godmother Project and be a presenting sponsor, and wear a tutu. I'm a tutu wearer, I do wear a tutu. It's blue, it's sparkly, like my shoes. And it's super cute, but that means I go to the houses and I'll help clean, or I'll paint a door, or I'll deliver whatever they need. So the why. This is actually the most important part. This does not work as a business model for anyone if your why is not right. Your why has to come from here. It doesn't come from your wallet. It doesn't come from your head. It only comes from your heart. Because if it doesn't, it's going to look like you're using it to promote yourself. And the key is not to do that. The key is to give back. Because when you give and you put goodness out there, you would be amazed at what comes back. So this was not by design, the giving back. It wasn't intentional, it just happened for me. And what I've realized is about 35% of our business is from giving back, which is crazy. So you have to think, what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? And I do have a video, I don't know if it's gonna play. Will it play? From Simon Sinek. Do you all know who Simon Sinek is? Start with why. Yep. So start with why. The why is the most important part. Everything we do, we believe in making a positive impact where we live, work, and play. Everything we do, we believe in causing a ripple effect of kindness and community. The way we challenge the status quo is to provide services designed to create a partnership with our clients and strengthen our community. The way we create the ripple effect is by investing in the needs and wants of our client. We just happen to sell houses. Do you want to buy or sell one? Flip the script. Think differently. This is a pillar of how we conduct our business. It's not the only thing we do. We work with luxury buyers. We work with first-time home buyers. We work with military. I sit right outside of Quantico and everything shake, rattles, and booms on a daily basis there. But this is the core of who our team is. This is the core of who I am. And that's how it has come out into a business model. So far, just in 2022, our impact, and just so you know, I am the team lead. I have 2 buyer's agents, and I have 1 assistant, and a VA, or 2, maybe 3. I think 3. But we have impacted just this year 43 unique charities. Almost a little over 1,600 people are in our database as a result of the Give Back program. So now I'll just give you the caveat. Yes, when they vote or they register and nominate, we do collect information. We do disclose to them eventually down the road. We might be sending them a newsletter. We're not marketing to them directly, but a newsletter. They're in our local community. So a newsletter with relative information, I'll tell you, my newsletters are not like all sales. They're more community-based. And we also talk about the charities that we're making an impact with, or an event that we might have coming up. We've given, well, now that number's actually grown. It's almost 20 grand so far this year. And this is just a very small part of what we've given back. This doesn't include any of the sponsorships that we're doing or anything like that. But this was just from the GBT Gives Back program. So this is how I look at business. The what, the who, and the why. And when you take all 3 of those pieces and they intersect, that's who we are. And that's how we've been successful. People don't buy what you do, but why you do it. That is one of my most favorite quotes. Cause a movement, not a business. You have to look at it from the right optic. Cause a reason for people to care. And throw the pebble in the water, because I can tell you, without a doubt, even a small ripple can cause a wave. That's a picture of my mom. That's me as a baby. And she is my inspiration. And no doubt, she is my why. Thank you very much.